name is Heather Garrett, and I'm the town's Community Development Program Manager. Today, I'm going to discuss the Community Development Block Grant, or CDBG. I'll start with a general overview of the funding, then I'll discuss projects that can and cannot be funded through CDBG, as well as describe the projects that are currently being funded in Manchester, and then I will review some questions. To start, the acronym is CDBG for Community Development. CDBG funding comes from the Federal Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD, and it comes directly to Manchester, which means we have more flexibility in deciding which eligible projects would most benefit our town residents. HUD provides these funds in an effort to develop viable, healthy communities by providing decent housing, a suitable living environment, and expanded economic opportunities. It's important to keep in mind that CDBG funding is primarily intended to benefit low and moderate income residents. Every 5 years, we have to submit a consolidated plan or CON plan to HUD. The current CON plan runs from 2020 through 2024. And this report provides an overall assessment of housing and community development needs for residents with low and moderate incomes. It also outlines priority goals and objectives for that 5-year period. Any federally funded housing or community development efforts that occur in town during that 5-year period must be in compliance with the consolidated plan. CDBG funding provides a lot of flexibility to communities because we can fund a variety of projects. As you can see here, we can do economic development, public facilities and improvements, housing, and public service projects. Then once an individual project is selected, we have to determine whether that project meets all of the numerous regulations and requirements that are associated with CDBG. Every year, we have to submit an action plan to HUD. Manchester operates on the federal fiscal calendar, so our program year starts on October 1st. Our action plan describes the projects that we intend to fund during the program year. It also outlines the goals and how we intend to spend the funds, as well as identifying which subrecipients, so which town departments or nonprofits will implement the projects. So to give an example, the CON plan may say an objective during this 5-year period is to do housing rehab. The action plan would then say our intention is to allocate $150,000 this year to the housing rehab program to assist 10 households. We were recently notified that our 2023-2024 grant will be in the amount of $533,876. This represents just under a 2% increase from our current program year, or about $10,000. In addition to that, we intend to request that the Board of Directors consider reprogramming $44,575 from program year 2017 projects that were either canceled or came in under budget. We can then reprogram those funds to support projects during the upcoming program year. It's very important to keep in mind that any project funded through CDBG must meet one of 3 national objectives. The first is be of benefit to low and moderate income persons or households. This objective is the one most commonly used, and we have to use at least 70% of our funds towards this objective. The second is prevent or eliminate slum or blight. And the third, which is not commonly used, is meet urgent community development need. Though number 3 is not commonly used, it is important to have as an option in situations such as when Hurricane Sandy hit the Connecticut shoreline. This option enables communities to activate CDBG funds to respond to an emergency. I've mentioned that CDBG is intended to primarily benefit low and moderate income residents. This represents the income limits that are current for Manchester during the current program year. And it breaks it down by household size. So to provide an example, if a household applied to the housing rehab program and it was a 4-person household, we would have to ensure that their gross household income was no more than $89,400. This slide provides information about the housing programs that are currently being funded through CDBG. The town's housing rehab program has 2 components. The first is the general rehab program, and that program is available in the areas shaded in yellow on the map. This program is intended to address lead paint hazards and property maintenance code issues. The yellow shaded area is the eligible area for this program because it is the sections of town that tend to have our oldest housing stock. And any housing that was built before 1978, it is likely that there is lead paint present. The second program offered by the town is the Emergency Replacement Program. This program is available townwide to eligible households and addresses a situation that may threaten the health and/or safety of a property's occupants. So this could help in situations such as when a property's boiler or water heater is no longer functioning and needs to be replaced. Rebuilding Together has also been receiving funding for their roof replacement program. That program is also available townwide to income-qualified, owner-occupied homes. I mentioned earlier that we can fund public service activities through CDBG. It's important to keep in mind, though, that we can use no more than 15% of our annual grant in support of public services. So if our upcoming program year grant amount is $533,000, then we're limited to spending no more than approximately $80,000 towards public services. And some examples of the types of projects that would fall in this category would be job training, homeless outreach, after-school programs, and services for survivors of domestic violence. This slide shows the projects that are funded during the current program year. And again, the program year started on October 1st of 2022 and will run through September 30th of this year. In the public service category, Journey Home, which is a regional nonprofit, is funding a Career Pathways to Employment program. This program provides formerly homeless and lower income residents with a career path in manufacturing. Participants will attend classes at MCC in manufacturing, and then once they graduate, they will be provided with job placement assistance. Interval House East is receiving funds to support their programs for survivors of domestic violence. In the capital projects category, I've already mentioned the housing rehab program and Rebuilding Together's roofing program, but the Public Works Department is receiving funding for a sidewalk extension on Hilliard Street between Adams and Duval Street, and the Fire Marshal's Office is receiving funds for their smoke and carbon monoxide detector program. This program installs detectors in income-qualified units. Here are some questions that you can think about as you review these slides, and feel free to send comments or questions or feedback to my email address if you have any to share. And here's my contact information. Thank you so much for watching.